Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it. You already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Look at Dubs. He can't stand this shit. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. For my soul brothers. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Orale. You know what I mean? Now that I'm done with the riff-raff shit, let's get straight into it in Menudo style of direct fashion, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there. And of course, I brought none other than Big Dubs right here with me, man. Make sure you guys tap into his show. Dubs, best show going, right? Or hottest show going. And one of the best, right? Make sure you tap in with it. Real talk by a real one. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was using steel. Steel sharpens steel. We've all heard that conversation. So it's gay. I'll use steel. What the, you know what I mean? Will you? Well, we already know you won't because you said it. Fill me up with unleaded. I'll take a half tank. I got a little bit of feria. People that talk about using steel more than likely have never used it or won't. The ones that will and that have done it, it's never a pretty sight. It's never something that you want to repeat. It's something that once you've done, you know you can do. It's in you because not every man is built for tough. Not every man can do it. We're all cut from a different cloth. Some the same, I guess, but for the most part, a lot of people are not trying to do that. You know what I mean? Nobody is raising their hand. I mean, there's a few fucking crazy individuals that I guess do raise their hand, and then when it gets put in their hand to handle their business, they're like, let's keep it at the same time, right? No, there is no same time. It's your time now to shine. Everybody will be held accountable for their actions. So I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people have asked me, you know, what does it take for a man to use steel in prison? Well, it takes a willingness, a commitment, a dedication to what you truly believe. And it doesn't matter if it's gang related or just a man being a man. If you're disrespected in prison, the streets, whatever the case may be, traditionally, Mexicanos, Chicanos, raza have been known to be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean, right? They play for keeps. And that's just passed on through heritage. It's from spears to swords to pedazos, right? It's something that's in our DNA. Now, not everybody could do it. I've been around some individuals that can't. I wanted to bring Dubs on here to collab with them because I know he knows of certain situations you know, where people will use it, they won't, and it's not for everyone. So I'm gonna ask Dubs, you know, let me know about some of the situations, brother, that you've been involved in where people were like handy with the steel, and some people were like, no, it's not for me.
Well, I'll say this. During my incarceration, it was pretty much known. If you were raza from Southern California, you were gonna have to do something at least once. And like you said, not everybody is a killer. You know, and that was known to a lot of people. There were some people that were ruthless and were like, nah, they're gonna do this or that, you know, and that's when you would see people go by the wayside. But I was under the impression, I was under the schooling where everybody can carry some type of weight. You know what I'm saying? If a vato's not a killer, then he better keep his nose out of other people's business. Because once you stick your nose in other people's business, what you're not capable of doing is irrelevant to what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? But if you're lucky when you're young and you first get in there and you know you're rowdy as fuck, you have a Sally that knows exactly how to make weapons out of anything. And if he sees, you know, because it's different for the raza from down south. It's something you have to seek out. You know, it isn't something that's just handed to you. It's somebody has to see something in you to like, okay, this vato wants to learn. What does he want to learn? Because what he learns, he's held accountable to. You know what I'm saying? But it's true, man. I don't know. I think I met one dude in my whole prison term that didn't do a pegada. And it was because he was a dope dealer on the yard. And them dudes are looked at as soft. You know what I mean? Like, also, you had the bag, so you didn't have to put in work like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you will learn early. So myself, whenever I would go to the shoe, when I would get out of the shoe, the first cell I hit, I would cut my locker up. You know what I mean? Because I knew I was only going to be there for a few days. So I would chop a piece of that locker up, and then I don't want to say how we would make it look like there was nothing missing, but I would make sure I did that. So when I went into my regular cell, I already had something nice, and it was going to be steel. And that was just part of my program.
Yeah, definitely. And see, the way I was taught, educated, was you had to make, steel was always the best thing, steel, sharpened steel, but you had to make that, if you're going to make a pedazo to be used on the yard, you're going to do it right. Okay, you're not going to make half-fast one that's going to bend or break on you, because you're going to be looked at as a poop butt if it doesn't do its intended purpose. I mean, I've seen situations where people did a pegada and then we laughed at them like, oh man, you was over there stabbing them with it looked like a fucking rubber spot. You know what I mean? It was bending the whole time, and you was over there trying to dig. And I mean, there's just certain situations where if you're going to do it and you're going to take that penitentiary chance, that risk that comes along with it, you're going to do it right. Now, what I wanted to base this video on is what it takes to do it, right? See, there's a certain feeling, a certain situation. The first time for everything, you're always going to be of the understanding, man. It's fear of the unknown. You know, it's not a fear that you got butterflies in your stomach. Fuck, your first pegada, fuck, what's going to happen? Am I going to get time? Am I going to get caught? Am I going to go to the oil? Is someone going to tell on me? You know what I mean? And not every man knows what it feels like to put some metal inside of another man. It's not an easy thing. It's not just, oh man, it's nothing, right? There's some that can do it like nothing, like butter, right through butter. And they just have it in them, right? They got that animal instinct, or that, you know, that instinct to kill. But there's some people, I myself, I was never comfortable with it. I would do what I had to do, and I did it on plenty of occasions, but at the same time, I never got used to the fact of using metal on another human being. You know, I felt like I come from the old school where it was all hands on. So when weaponry was initiated, like, oh no, it would be weapons only, period. I was kind of like, all right, I'm with the program. I'm never going to go against the grain, because then that'll be inside me, and I'm cool. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I think after you do your first one, after you've put steel inside of a man, allegedly, that changes the whole outlook on everything. It never gets easy, Holmes. It never gets, like, you never enjoy it, but it does become easier. It's like riding a bike. Holmes, once you do it one time, then you just hop on and get with it, right? So as I went on with thing after thing that I was involved in, allegedly, right, it became more easier. And just, I guess what you would say is, like, you know, when you go into prison, you become desensitized. I was desensitized to it. It wasn't nothing anymore. It was like, okay, I got to do what I got to do. You know, I always knew there was always, on my side up north, there was always it wasn't done in a threatening manner. That it was asked that I assist, right? It was always an assistance. But you knew that if you just said no on the assistance, or you decided not to assist, then there was a lot of ramifications that came with that. And that's neither here nor there. It just is what it is. You know, without saying. It's known without saying. But I seen some pegadas, dubs, where individuals were shaking, bro. Yeah. They were shaking. You know, they were scared to death, bro. And it's like, hey, you're not the one getting hit. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But then when I had to do my first one, I understood where they were coming from. You know, it's a hard thing. Like, it's easy to shoot. Oh, anyone can shoot. You know what I mean? You shoot from a mile away. It's easy. Exactly. Yeah, but walking up, it's close and personal, bro. Putting metal inside of another man, that's very personal. And I think, you know, anyone that does that, man, you're not a normal human being. You become outside of yourself then. You know, that's the animalistic nature that every human has inside of them. Some people don't know how to release it. Some do. I've seen people that will book someone 90 to 100 times nonstop, just booking them like it ain't nothing. And then I've seen some people that hit them and run. You know what I mean? They just do the bare minimum. So it's just it's something I don't think anyone could get used to. But I've seen a lot of shit happen on them yards, man, where it's just, and in general in life, you know, I've seen some authors that to this day, that they don't go nowhere without a pedazo. They're institutionalized. They carry metal on them at all times. Yep. You know, I knew a lot of dudes like that. Yeah. And it's a trip, because you'll have a lot of people that are like, well, it's because Mexicans can't fight, or you guys can't do this. Has nothing to do with that. It has more so to do with, this is just what is taught, what is indoctrinated, what is the way we roll. You know what I mean? Spence Holmes. I know we were well versed in weapon stock, meaning anything that I seen that I could utilize as a weapon. I don't give a fuck what it was, a blade of grass. There was 101 different ways to kill a Dalmatian, right? And we were gonna make sure that we were on it. And you know, it just happened like that. You told me a story one time about some weapon stock. Do you remember that story you told me about the brother with the weapon stock? Yeah. That was a funny story, and I got a story similar to it. Okay, so look, I'm gonna tell it after you, but go ahead. All right, so this was in New Folsom, and I was on the yard crew, and the shot caller for the Kumis hollered at me, right in between yards, and he was like, "Hey man, can I holler at you?" And I was like,
I was like, what's up? And he goes, hey, look, man, I know this might sound crazy, but like my people found this area in the main kitchen. This was on Sea Yard, in the main kitchen, and there's a lot of weapon stock right there. If we tell you where it is, um, can you chop it all up? Because you guys know what you're doing with it. You guys chop it up and we'll split it. And I was like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. But what we did is we watched them to figure out, like, we sent word in, hey, follow these vatos around, pay attention to what they're doing. And we wound up finding out what they were looking at, and we took everything.
Hey, and for those of you that don't understand,
that's how it is.
That's how it is. All right, look, if you were to put weapons in what is considered your enemigo's hands, even though as a man, there was that respect there where they were conversating, hey, respectful, hey, what's up, buenos dias, hey, good morning, bro. And some people are going to be a little bit more cooler with others. You vibe. You like the same type of whatever, right? But if you were to put weapons in the next man's hands that you know will be utilized against your people, yeah, you're going to be accountable for that. You know, you definitely will be held accountable for that. And it's not going to end pretty. You know what I mean? One of those are going to go on you. That's just the way to. And the same thing happened with us one time, man. We were watching where individuals were actually stashing their stuff.
Yeah.
And they would dig and put them in the ground, and we were digging them up as they would go. We're right behind them. We had someone digging them up. Yeah, everybody digging them up. And it is. And so everybody is watching. And I don't want to give up too much game because that's not what we're here for. It's just my stories, you know. It was a funny thing. Getting back to putting a knife in someone, the first time I ever did it, man, the sensation and the feeling that I had was morbid.
It feels weird.
Yeah, it was morbid. Yeah, I'm one of those vatos. I don't even like cutting up a chicken, right? I just don't like doing it. And when I was told, okay, you're gonna handle your business, vato, you know what I mean? Arroz con pollo right now. Go handle your business. This is what's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna be. And I told my celly, damn, you know what I mean? I gotta go out in the yard and do my thing. He said, nah, it's just easy. Just don't even look. Just boom, boom, and get on, right? Don't look the man in the eyes. Because once you look him in the eyes, you're locked in with him forever, right? And I said, okay, I'm going to do it like that. Michael Myers shit, right? So I went and I handled my business. But with every stroke, with every move, Holmes, it was like, man, I don't want to be doing this shit. You know, I could hear him. I could hear it digging. I could hear him. Mm-hmm. Oh, he was feeling it. And I was like, you know, I'm literally killing this man. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I've been, and you got to understand, as a youth, I'd been stabbed before, and I had done stuff, right? This was in YA. This was not in prison. The first stabbings I did were in YA. This is where YA babies, like we've said on many occasions, bro, we were using metal in YA. For those of you that think it was all butter knives and Disneyland, it was nothing like that. We were actually using metal probably just a little bit more, maybe not to the highest degree of bodying people, but metal was commonplace in YA. Definitely. We had so many fucking knives that we didn't have nowhere to put them. We just fucking just throw them in the fucking latrine area. Fuck it, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of them, throw them down the drain. We had too much. So one of the first things I did, man, and it was like one of the first times I had to go behind the handball court. And I didn't know about the bleeding. I knew about the bleeding, but I didn't know about go behind the handball court and all that. I get to Nellis, I get called out by a vault. I'm not going to say his hood. I've said it before. Hey, man, I'm trying to see behind the handball court. I said, fuck it, let's go, right? I had a little ice pick on me. It was just a little banger, probably about 4 inches long, little handle. I'm thinking, okay, this is a fight to the death, gladiator school shit, right? So I ran back there. He put his head down. He was going to try to wrestle me, right? Dip me. He was a bigger dude. Dip me and give me the business. When he put his head down, I hit him in the back of the head, and he fucking felt it. He went up and it skinned him. That's where I got the name Skinner from. Because they used to call me Skinny Boy because I was real skinny, and then they were like, damn, you're skinny. You skinned that fool's head off. Of course, there was a lot of repercussions behind that, riots and all kinds of shit. And I was targeted for a while. But after doing that, I did it. And I said, oh, fuck, right? Hit his skull. Oh, shit. The second one I did, after that became easier. Third one, a little bit easier. So where it got to the point that when I was in prison, it was no longer, like I said, I was desensitized. It was no longer an issue. It was like, hey, I expected weaponry. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Hey, we're going to go do this. This is for you down. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got something right here. Let me pull them out, right? And that was it. And I mean, I've used everything from steel to shampoo bottles to whatever it was, you know what I mean, that I had at that point in time. I never hit that yard without something, even on the personal tip. You know what I mean? If I had whatever, I was out there, I was strapped. And that was for my own safety and security, you know? And so I could only imagine down south, or from the southern side, it was pretty much the same thing. I expect. You're going to go to the yard. You're going to be ready, secure.
Yeah, but and not only that, we would have them. I don't want to get into that, but they were always right there. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, it would take a second to get to them. You know what I'm saying? And but what's a trip too is a lot of people don't know about this. But so I'll give you one example. There was a dude. So one day I wanted to count. I wanted a count of who was holding in the building and how many they had in the cell, right?
Yeah.
And so there was this one vato. He had a few in there, and I was like, well, why do you have so many? You know what I mean? And he was like, oh well, he gave me this rundown, and he was like, I'm sending some out. I'm making some for somebody, this and that. Well, he had a really nice one, right? He showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, that motherfucker's nice. Let me get that." And he was like, "Nah, fool, that's mine. That's personal. That's not for the pad. This and that." And I was like, "All right." Swear to God, like 2 days later, he sent the porter, and he was like, "Hey, homeboy wants to know if you still want that." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" He goes, "Okay." Well, it turned on him, so as soon as he can get it out, he doesn't want it no more. It was stuck.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got lucky and didn't have to go to medical. It shifted its way back out, and he was like, "I don't want that no more," because it was a monster.
Oh man, I've been on yard. So I was on a yard one time with this guy, and we're working out, and he's sweating. I mean, sweating more than you should sweat, right? And he's red and he's sweating. I was like, this fucking homeboy's having a heart attack or something, right?
Yeah.
So and the way we do it is there's no room for fucking sympathy. We're merciless when it comes to our routine, right? How we get down. So he had to continue the whole get down, right? And after I seen him and he just kept holding his stomach, I said, "What's up, bro? You got the bubble guts, or what's happening?" He was like, "Hey, bro, I think my piece turned on me." And I was like, "Is that right?" They had to rush this guy in medical and take him to medical, and it had turned sideways on him. Yeah. The cool part about the situation, this dude had 4 months to the gate, bro. He ended up picking a case because that's some years right there. You get caught with the weapon. Yeah, you got the DA referral, you got caught with the weapon. It was, possession is 9/10 of the law. He possessed it, right? And it was unfortunate, that he was short timing and it turned on him. That's one thing, you just never know when it could do that, especially the bigger they get.
I had one get stuck on me. It didn't turn, it got stuck. Because people don't know there's flaps of skin in there. You know what I mean? And it got the handle, a flap of skin got under it was scary, but I got it out, but it was scary. But so sometimes you'll see it on YouTube if you Google like prison knives and stuff like that. There's an X-ray of a pair of scissors. Well, a half of a scissors.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
that was my neighbor. Yeah, that was my neighbor. It was a wood. It was my neighbor. It was a young little white dude, and he had that, and I remember where his Sally let me know, like, "Hey, look, we're gonna have to call man down. Hey, my Sally, it turned on him. It's been 3 days." I was like, "Damn, he waited that long?" He was like, he was trying to get it out.
Yeah, I know it's to the people that have never been in prison, you're like, wow, you know what I mean? But you be playing in your shit, you know what I mean? That's a daily thing. So it just is what it is, man. It's unfortunate it has to go down like that, but it does, So those of you that think, that, oh yeah, I want to be cool and okay, you're gonna be cool, all right. You're gonna be so cool, we're gonna call you culo.
I want to make sure that people understand we're not glorifying none of this shit. And I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. Quick.
Yeah.
So people understand you do not want to go to prison. You don't want to fuck with this shit. So in Ad Seg, we would rotate pedazos. So a cell would hold it for 3 or 4 days, and it would move to another cell, 3 or 4 days, move to another cell. And we would always have them in rotation. So if something happened, somebody said something, they didn't know what cell it was going to be in or which cells it was going to be in. And we're constantly rotating them. But here's the thing. We were in Ad Seg. We didn't have access to latex gloves often. And so you would get the pedazo and the latex that it was in. If that one hadn't been used in a while, it was orange. And then that orange was from people washing their shit off of it every time they pulled it out. And then when they sent it to you, that orange was their shit. So I remember my Sally and I were like, when we got the first one we got that was like that, we were like, hey, check this out. We'll keep them permanent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want nobody else's shit. Ours is permanent. We ain't holding it 3 or 4 days. We're keeping these shits. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's the reality. And that's another reason why people get Hep C in there.
Oh
You
yeah, oh
know?
definitely. It's and a lot of people think it's from drug usage or tattoos. Nah, it's a lot of it's from passing,
Yeah.
hot material along.
Yeah.
Here's a story. Tracy, I'm in DVI, and at that time, I'm there, and I shoot a wheeler down to someone. He just gets there, and he's somebody's. I know who he is, and I'm like, oh, perfect, bro. I'm glad you're here. Now you can assist me in doing what we got to do, right? So I shoot him a few things down there to secure. Hey, you got this is it's us now, right? And he shoots me a wheeler back. Hey, bro, I can't. So what the hell you mean you can't, bro? You got to, right? Come on. I've never heard this before. This is something new to me. I'm looking at my cellular like, what part of the game is this? Well, the Vato ended up having HIV, right? So he was like, I can't. Luckily, he was, man enough to tell us. He was like, I can't, bro, because of this. He could, because you know how it is. It's going to pass on to the next man, the next man, the next man. And so I was like, well, man, I appreciate you, man, right, for telling me that. And then I told him, well, tell your celly hold it then. And his celly was off. So he still had the position, but his celly had to hold the shit.
Yeah.
Right? So he was winning. But the shit and the beat goes on. But I mean, yeah, that's how a lot of disease, a lot of things are passed along. But getting back to what it takes for a man to use still, it doesn't take balls. It doesn't take aggressiveness. It takes a willingness to survive.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is. It's a willingness to survive. It's, anybody can kill somebody. Anybody can get killed. Remember that, right? But if you really want to live, if you really, really want to get out to your loved ones, if you really want to go in there, not necessarily prove yourself to be some type of gangster or whatever, but live. Everybody is in a fight for survival in prison, okay? Whatever they choose to do in their life is totally up to them. They're grown men. They know what they signed up for. They know what they're doing. Some that don't know, they're going to find out very soon, right? Like Dub says, not glorifying the situation. The fact and the reality is that every single person right now is in a struggle to survive.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for the ones that are doing vida, that are just struggling for another day, hoping that one day they could have that hope, some hope, and I hope that everybody gets out and gets to touch that, that freedom. It's possible. You just got to do the right things. But that's all it is. It's not, the crazy ones could do it. Anybody can do it. It's never a good thing. You'll never get used to it. Those that do are psychopaths. You know what I mean? I'm not a doctor, so I can't explain why they enjoy shit like that. But for the most part, it's just a struggle of survival. You're doing it because if you don't, it's on you.
There was a saying that, we used to say it all the time, man. When somebody would get whacked, we would look at each other and say, better him than me.
Oh yeah.
That's how it is in there. Better him. If you gotta whack somebody, better him than me. And that's the reality. That's how cold-blooded it is,
Yeah, and that could be your same camarada, your same homeboy you've been rocking with for 5 years on that yard, and you just fucked up, and now, and the beat goes on, right? Yeah. It's a cool situation, but at the same time, a lot of people that watch our channels, and a lot of people that think that we're saying these stories to glorify it, or we're saying these stories to scare people away from certain situations. No, we're giving you our stories, things that we've seen, facts, reality. You take it for however you want to take it. I know that over time, man, it took me a long time to realize that some of the things I was doing was not only disgusting, but it was absolutely, out of my character. But I did that. So I would never detour anyone from their path. It's not what we're here for. We're just here to give you facts, man, and give you the realest, our truths. Anyways, with that being said, man, I appreciate you, Dubs, for your tiempo, bro. I know you got some bangers coming up. I see you got your new little office popping.
Oh, they don't know yet. They don't know yet. They don't know yet.
I ain't even gonna put it out there. Let's just say Dubs came up like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? He did his thing, man, and it's well deserving, man. His channel was exploding. He deserves all the accolades because he puts in the work. I told him a long time ago, the work. If you put in work, you will see results. And there it is, there, right? Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the struggle to survive for you and your familia. That means get off your lazy ass, throw your fucking Red Wing boots on, and go to the shop. Even though your boss is like, hey, today you're not supposed to work. Bitch, I'm on overtime, right? Get your money on, right? If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe with the thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. Chicano clothing. Shout out to my boy Pete. I'm gonna continue to do what I does. I know Dubs is definitely gonna do what he does, and we're gonna make it happen for the raza. I could do this all day. Orderly Dubs. Gracias, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man.